first time since that Orange Bowl run with Adrian Claiborne and Marvin McNutt and Ricky Stanzi back in 2009 for the Hawkeyes. For those of us who have had the pleasure of living in the great state of Iowa, that epitomizes it right there for you. Happy Halloween to you and yours. For the 7th time in 8 games, Iowa won the toss and elected to receive, and it is Desmond King with the return. And he's out across the 25-yard line, hit shy of the 30. And that's where Iowa will start off its day offensively with C.J. Beathard, the first Iowa quarterback to start 8-0 in his career, including a game last season against Purdue. He's dealing with a right groin injury he suffered a couple of games ago, so he's limited a little bit physically, so that takes away a little bit of the playbook and something that makes C.J. really good. Yeah, 2 words, tough and poised. I like those words for a quarterback. I hear that from you pretty much all the time. There you go. The toughness and the poise next to me in the booth. First down and 10. Akram Wadley is the deep back in the I formation. Well, they're going to pass on first down, and Will Likely, one of the absolute best ball hawks in college football, is there to knock the ball away from Matt Vandenberg. He has to come off the field with his helmet off. And this, we may see more screen game because of the groin injury for C.J. Beathard. More of a screen game because you're going to see much, much less of the quarterback run game out of Iowa today. C.J. Beathard is a very good running quarterback when he's at his best, so we'll see how that works for him today. But there is Will Likely, junior out of Belgrade, Florida. Man, is he one of the true great corners in college football, despite his 5'7" frame. Second down 10 for C.J. Beathard. Down the seam in a tight window. Looking for Vandenberg again, his leading receiver. This time it was A.J. Hendy, the safety, on coverage. And that brings up third down and 10. Kelly, impact players on this side of the ball. Well, Iowa's going to want to run the football, so Akram Wadley is the guy that's going to get the touches today, and then Yannick Ngakoue is this juice off the edge, and then we've already seen William Likely. He's undersized, but he has a grown man's mind from day one as he stepped on the campus at Maryland, and we already saw him blow up one play today. Back on the field after sitting out a play with his helmet off. Third down and 10 for the Hawkeyes. 44% conversion rate, top 30 in the country on the season. Derek Mitchell, a very good third down back, is in the game. He releases on the screen, makes the one-handed grab with plenty of real estate and a first down out across the 45. Grabbed by A.J. Hendy and brought down. 19 yards on that pass play. And a great job of Greg Davis in play calling. Anticipate the pressure off the top. Throw the screen right where the pressure comes from. The third down back, Derek Mitchell is in there mainly to block on third down, but why not throw the blocker a screen? Well disguised, well executed. He's a former wide receiver who went to the scout team as a running back last year. He's done a nice job. Wadley back in the game, coming off that career best 204 yards 2 weeks ago against Northwestern. And there he is with a head of steam, and you can see why he can pick up quick yards. He bursts into Maryland territory and into the chest of Anthony Nixon. He'll pick up 6 yards on first down. Jordan Canzeri is out. Suffered that left ankle injury after 4 carries 2 weeks ago against Northwestern. He's 4th in the Big Ten in rushing, but Wadley is the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week after that bulleting performance, over 200 yards against the Wildcats in a 40-10 blowout win, a season high in points 2 weeks ago for the Hawkeyes. Looking for a hole off the left side, and a nice job by Jermaine Carter, the outstanding middle linebacker, one of the best tacklers in the Big Ten, to stop him before he gets to the line to gain by about a half-yard shot. And Akram Wadley is very instinctive in the hole, and you can see the numbers right there against Northwestern. And we were talking to the coaches yesterday, and he says he basically has instincts that aren't coached, and that means, translation, mom and daddy gave him things that we can't instill here at Iowa. Hey, there's quarterback run, Kelly. They go third down and short with a quarterback sneak to the 40-yard line with Beathard. Again, dealing with that right groin injury, he only had 2 rushing yards against Northwestern, very limited mobility. Rested up during the bye week last week. He got more snaps this week than he did even leading up to that Northwestern game. But he may not be 100% for the rest of the year, we were told by the coaching staff. And that's one of his biggest assets, is his toughness at that position. And that quarterback run game isn't really the spread style, but he does compete for yardage when he runs the football. From the 40, pitch to Wadley, has a nice alley out there. Good block by Austin Blythe, his center. Solid run on first down to Olivia.
Guys, he has been practicing all week, but not all out. Coach Ferentz said he's just a step above walkthrough level. Well, that's better than what CJ got last week. Last game, he got 25 play script before Northwestern. But offensive coordinator Greg Davis said he doesn't need much. He knows the nuances of this offense much better than in the past. He said he was 50% at Northwestern, and like you said, Coach Ferentz said he probably won't be 100% the rest of the season.
But at a point, Olivia, they told us mentally where he doesn't need all the physical reps, to Olivia's point down on the field. Second down 3. Lead block from Adam Cox, the fullback, and Wadley trying to keep his feet as he was grabbed by Quinton Jefferson back this season from a knee injury. Drop shy by, again, about a half yard here, so let's see what Iowa does in short yards.
Yeah, the second time on this drive that they've been 3rd and short, and that's quintessential Iowa football, right? You grind it out in the Big Ten in this weather. You have to be able to run it physically downhill right here in this type of game.
See if they go sneak again with Beathard. They've got Vandenberg in motion. They'll try to go off the right side this time. Didn't need a whole lot, but there wasn't a whole lot of room to lunge forward. This is going to depend on the spot. And they give it to him without any type of close look. Head linesman from the side, Steve Matarante, felt that Beathard had already broken the plane of the 30.
And a pretty decent push, but it's about leverage. The low guy wins in short yardage situations, and they certainly didn't need much. They didn't get much, and that might be the only quarterback type of run we see all afternoon.
Felt like a lot of bodies down there, and he probably couldn't hit the ground. There was so much mass down there. 10th play of this drive. Iowa is known for long extended drives that lead to scores this season. And this is un-Iowa-like up until the end of last season, spreading it out with 4 receivers. And Jacob Hillier makes his 8th catch of the season, the redshirt senior out of Somerset, Texas, for 4.
And Adam, as we were told yesterday, Greg Davis would be several plays into his opening script where he scripts plays to try to get an idea of how the defense is going to defend things in certain formations, certain personnel groupings. You kind of put that data in the play sheet, and then you call your plays from there as the game carries on.
I know our man Mac Brown is watching Greg Davis in the studio. They spent about 13 years together down in Texas. Second down 7, 5 minutes in, all Iowa with possession so far. And Beathard on a 5-step drop. Looking for Vandenberg. And it's broken up nicely by Sean Davis, the converted safety. He's played a lot of cornerback in his career, but he has really done a nice job on the outside this season.
And this was actually really nice coverage, kind of the fade route from the inside position. As you see Vandenberg really just running a fade route, but the slot fade is difficult to cover. And you talked about it, Adam, that Sean Davis was a safety. Sometimes safeties aren't the best cover guys when they get outside, but Sean Davis did a very nice job right there on Vandenberg.
Not a whole lot of pressure just yet from Maryland. They have 24 sacks this season. That's 4th in the country. But Iowa 3 for 3 on 3rd down. But this is their longest 3rd down thus far. 3rd down 7, pressure from the Terps. One-on-one down the sideline and too tall for Tavon Smith, who is back fully healthy from that sprained knee. And it's Sean Davis going to the opposite side to cover a very good receiver in Smith.
And very good. Once again, good coverage down the field. Sean Davis, that former safety, and it's about length for him. He's a big defender at 6'1", 200 pounds, and sometimes Davis has a habit of getting his eyes in the wrong position, therefore getting out of position on the back end. Not that time.
Marshall Kane, who's already boomed a 57-yarder this year, misses a 45-yarder wide to the left. No good. Just his 3rd miss in 13 tries, and a typical extended Iowa drive does not end in points. That's been atypical of most drives for Iowa in their efficient offense. Terps have the ball when you come back. Maryland's defense, nice man-to-man on the outside. A veteran secondary holding up, preventing any points going on the board. And from the 27-yard line, it's Perry Hills, the redshirt junior for Maryland. And this Terrapin offense given to Brandon Ross, who went over 2,000 yards a couple of weeks ago at Ohio State for his career. Perry Hills, they've changed the offense the last 2 games to suit his skill set. 170 yards on the ground against Ohio State, followed it up last week with 124.
And he's a runner of the football, and that really adds 1+1 to the run game, and that's what this offensive line from Maryland needs. They don't get a lot of push, add a hat to the run game, and make the defense defend one more gap.
Second down 8. Off play action. Plenty of time. Hills delivers a strike for a first down to Malcolm Comer out across the 40-yard line. Works his way out to the 43 on a 14-yard pass play. Comer, the redshirt junior, making the grab. Perry Hills out of Pittsburgh. I know the folks in Iowa City will respect the fact that he was one of the greatest high school wrestlers in the state of Pennsylvania when he was in high school. 145 career wins and 195-pound champion. That adds to his toughness. That's why he can absorb 51 rushes the last 2 games from the quarterback spot. Spreads it out with 5 on 1st and 10. Blitz is coming. Being chased by Cole Fisher, and here is the running ability. Into Iowa territory goes Perry Hills inside the 45-yard line.
And Adam, we're going to see impromptu plays like this one right here. He escapes out the right side, design pass, brought extra pressure up inside. Cole Fisher was the addition by the defense after the quarterback, but that's exactly what we're going to see out of Perry Hills. There will be design quarterback runs, and then there will be plays like that.
What did the coaching staff tell us? About 15 of these are designed for him, and the rest of it is reads and improvisation by a guy who is big, 6'2", 210, but runs downhill. And Maryland's offensive coordinator Mike Locksley and John Dunn said they want to run right into the Iowa wall. Option play. Here's a pitch to Ross with a head of steam, and he lost the football right into the hands of Miles Taylor. And he's down shy of the 40-yard line. Hills made the right decision. Ross got good yardage, but he just coughed it up seemingly before his knee went down. The ball spotted at the 38.
Yeah, Hills runs the speed option out to the right side. Option the in man on the line of scrimmage, gave it to Ross, and that ball comes out. I think they got it right on the field. I think it was Maben that punched the ball out. And that's quintessential Iowa defense. Defend the run, even if you give up a little bit, defend it, and then eventually take it away and keep points off the board.
+8 is Iowa in the turnover margin so far this season. That's been a big turnaround from last year where they had some turnover issues at crucial moments in the season.
Greg Maben, the corner, punched that football out.
Just the slightest push of that football while Ross was going down. So good field position for Iowa at the 38-yard line. Wadley is the single back. Looking for an alley, bounces to the outside and shoved out of bounds by Davis. About a 7-yard pickup on first down there for Wadley. Mike Locksley was the head coach for 2.5 years at New Mexico, went just 2-26 in his stint there. But as Olivia told you, he said if he ever got the chance to do it again, he would do a lot of things differently. And the Maryland players have seemingly responded to him in a very positive way. And he's an easy guy to root for, is Mike Locksley. But he said he's not going to politic for the Maryland head coaching job. 2nd down 2. 1st down and more for Akram Wadley, cutting it back. Grabbed by A.J. Hendy first, and then swung down after a 14-yard run.
And Boone-Meyer is in at left tackle, back from injury. Right tackle. I think he is playing left tackle.
It is left tackle, yeah, Boone-Myers.
He was left tackle early in the year, and now he's back from injury. He's still the edge, and what I was doing right now is the zone run scheme. Ace formation, 1 back, 2 wideouts, 2 tight ends, a balanced formation. Make the defense choose what they're going to defend.
Myers missed the last 3 games with a neck stinger. LaShawn Daniels missed the last 2 games with a right ankle injury he suffered against Iowa State. He's into the game as the single back. 1st down and 10, Beathard. Looking for Vandenberg, who's got separation, but the ball is overthrown. 2nd down and 10.
That's the 2nd time we've seen that matchup. Sean Davis matched up on Mark Vandenberg. A safety, one high safety over the top, man-to-man underneath, and it was a corner route, and actually Vandenberg had maybe a half a step, a better throw, a little bit more air at him, and that ball might have been able to be dropped in there.
They're testing Sean Davis, and so far Davis has been up to the challenge in man-to-man coverage. Pass defense has been suspect, as has the defense in general for Maryland this season, ranked 104th in the country. Beathard over the middle, and it's caught for a 1st down. Tavon Smith. He's got 22 yards. That's the first big play for him since he had arthroscopic surgery to remove his meniscus.
It's good to have Tavon Smith back, and he's more of the big play receiver. Vandenberg was running the route from the opposite side, and then this is the backside. The quarterback actually started to Vandenberg on one side. The eyes of the quarterback took the safety, Anthony Nixon, number 20, out of there, and then the dig route to Smith to the left side. That was good work by C.J. Beathard.
His third completion on 8 passes. Well, that's his biggest play of the day so far. So here is Daniels coming off that ankle injury, and Daniels pounds his way inside the 5-yard line. It is first and goal for Iowa.
Daniels is a change of pace back in the way that he's just much more physical. 6 foot, 225 pounds. Wadley's 185. That's what downhill running behind a zone scheme looks like. 5 guys up front working in tandem. That's Iowa's run game.
He'll stay in the game on first and goal. 16 red zone rushing touchdowns for Iowa out of the 20 that they've scored. Trying to lean on the ground game, and Daniels staying on his feet, finally brought down by Yannick Ngakoue, one of our impact players on the defensive side of the football. 3 yards, hard-earned, to set up second and goal.
Adam, I think Maryland is much more comfortable up front, being on the move, getting after the passer, as opposed to being able to anchor against a physical run game. That's not exactly their wheelhouse.
They did a decent job, a very good job against Penn State's running game, as a matter of fact. Only gave up 48 yards on 31 carries. But Iowa running it down the field right now. Second down goal. Tumbling into the end zone is Daniels for a touchdown. His first of the season, the second of his career, and the Hawkeyes are on the board first.
The two-back run game, the big fullback Cleva gets up inside. Not a great block out on the edge, but it creates enough softness the running back to make a decision when he sees a little space.
Here at Kinnick Stadium, and I'm pretty sure our camera people got lost inside the corners. Thankfully, they're back. We're here with you. Adam, Amin, Kelly Stauffer, Olivia Harlan, Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City. There's 12 unbeaten teams in college football coming into this Saturday. Iowa is one of them, believe it or not. They're 7-0, number 10 in the country. Maryland trying to snap a 4-game skid and get a top 10 win for the first time in this decade. Here is Will Likely. Outstanding, dangerous, explosive return man. Takes it out across the 30-yard line. Well, the big game tonight, 2 ranked teams. Saturday Night Football presented by Walmart. The biggest game in Temple football history. They haven't had this type of chance at a win since the 40s when they beat Holy Cross, a top 10 team then, as number 9 Notre Dame comes into town. Saturday Night Football presented by Walmart, and these are our Capital One college football rankings. Believe it or not, the only 2 teams that have 2 road wins over ranked teams, Iowa, and who's the other, Kel?
No idea.
Alabama. So we're talking about trying to use a barometer here to judge where the Hawkeyes are in the global landscape of college football. That might be your best barometer. 2 road wins against ranked teams. Of course, Alabama beat Texas A&M and Georgia. Design quarterback run. Here is Hills running left, and he's able to slip a tackle, but Parker Hesse got just enough of him to bring him down on a really good first down run to the 36-yard line.
And we've already seen Perry Hills on an impromptu run from the quarterback position, but that was, as you said, Adam, by design. It's actually a quarterback power. Pull 2 offensive linemen, get out to the edge, and let that former wrestler get downhill.
Did you give me a wrestler just then?
Wrestler.
I dug it. I dug it. Tom Brands would be proud of that. Second down 4. This is one of the read plays, and it's Wes Brown getting the carry. He gets popped shy of the 40-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and 3 as we check in with Cassidy Hubbard. Tough play to play, Lubbock, Texas, but Oklahoma State, one of those unbeatens as well, with a big November coming up. For the Big 12, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, Baylor, and TCU all have the eliminator coming up starting next week. 3rd and 3. Just the four-man rush on 3rd and short. Hills has that ball deflected, and it's picked up by Miles Taylor. He lost the football. It's bounding around, and it's picked up by Avery Edwards of Maryland. If they rule a change of possession here, Iowa would take over the ball, then a loss of possession would give it back to Maryland with a fresh set of downs.
On the field, it's an interception followed by a fumble, recovered by Maryland. 1st and 10.
That is absolutely called the right way. Yep. There was a clear change of possession, a long move up the field, and it is Maryland 1st down.
The ball tipped at the line of scrimmage right there by Nate Meyer, not getting to the quarterback. Get your hands up, and then Miles Taylor picks it off. Maryland gets the ball back. Very interesting play, but any way Mike Loxley can get it today, he's going to take it.
It's a turnover on both sides, so Iowa is still +1 in the takeaway margin for the game, but Maryland gets a break. How about the play by Wes Brown? The running back ended up popping the ball out of the hands of Miles Taylor to save it back for Maryland, and the Terps have it 1st and 10 at the 32. There's Brown, who just saved the ball for the Terps. So give it right to him, and they'll churn forward back across the 35, running into the aforementioned Nate Meyer, a 40-yard run.
And Miles Taylor, even though he's on the defensive side, needed to complete the catch as well, and that's exactly what he did. An act common to the game. He went running with the football, had possession before it got knocked out, so rightly called a fumble.
Ron Snodgrass, a very good lead official here in the Big Ten. His crew got it right. 2nd down 6. Hills over the middle, and that should have been caught by DJ Moore. Incomplete. The true freshman out of Philadelphia, who is in for the injured Laverne Jacobs.
Yeah, that's big.
He's the 2nd leading receiver. Laverne Jacobs is their leading receiver. He's out. He didn't even travel with the team due to a sprained knee.
And you're exchanging Laverne Jacobs, the big play guy down the field, for DJ Moore, who's really flashed lately, but made a youthful mistake right there by just not looking the ball in before he started running with it.
3rd down 6. Hawkeyes show pressure, but only bring 4. Hills to Edwards, and he does not have enough room to get anywhere, and it's Desmond King running him out of bounds after a very short gain to bring up 4th down.
So Iowa defensively funneled Maryland to 3rd and 6, and then they defend in a way the quarterback has to throw the ball to the tight end short of the line to gain and to make a sure tackle. That's why I believe the 7-0 for Iowa right now, Adam, is as real as the day is long.
There is Desmond King, who's been great on defense and has been really solid on special teams. 3rd in the Big Ten in punt return average. Returning a Nicholas Pritchard punt. The true freshman with a really good kick. Forcing a fair catch at the 18-yard line. Iowa City, population 67,000. A look at the old Capitol building. We bring it back to the Midwest after this. Overnight and early this morning, but the sun is poked out at times. It's turned into a great Halloween Saturday. Glad you're with us here from Kinnick Stadium. Iowa takes over at its own 19-yard line. And Bethard to throw. Has a streaking man down the middle. What a catch! George Kittle reaching out with one hand, snatching it down across the 40.
George Kittle is to the right in the play-action pass, which wasn't even a great fake, but remember they're expecting 46 Kittle being an in-man on the line of scrimmage to block. He doesn't do that. He slips by the linebackers and gets in the middle of the field.
Just the 13th catch of his career, the redshirt junior out of Norman, Oklahoma. What a stud catch that was.
That was a good one, wasn't it?
Wow. So 1st down from shot position for Iowa. Bethard under pressure, and down he goes. This is something that Maryland has done extremely well this year, and it was Kingsley Opara, first man there, but he's the man down on the deck. It's a loss of 10 as Opara has his first sack of the season, but he went down very hard after that play.
What Maryland is doing on the back end is they're playing what they call one free, a single high safety, man-to-man underneath, and covering very well, quite frankly, and that pressure then gets to the quarterback. But it was good coverage on the back end, equals pressure on the front end.
He beat Austin Blythe, did Opara, and you wonder if maybe he landed awkwardly on his side, perhaps his left arm.
It looked like he might have gone down on the point of that right shoulder initially. I've been there, done that. But it's usually on the other end of it. A guy like Parra has jumped on the quarterback's back and driven the quarterback into the ground. But
this guy was a redshirt in 2013, just a scout team player all of last year, and he earned himself a spot on the defensive side of the ball as a really good backup nose tackle. But he is clearly shaken up on this play, but good to see him back up on his feet.
And great effort to the quarterback, C.J. Beathard, that time. But Parra is 6'3", over 300 pounds. And think of the force when you dive for the quarterback and drive the point of that right shoulder into the ground. A lot of our bodies aren't meant to withstand that kind of thing.
So Opara, who is the normal backup, comes off. As Abuki, Ukandu is back into the game, the redshirt junior for Opara. Second down and very long coming up here. So Iowa doing something that maybe Iowa hasn't been known for in the past, spreading it out a little bit and putting a bunch set on the right side. Four-man rush over the middle underneath. It's the running back, Derek Mitchell. Picks up about 5 yards. 3rd and 15 coming up here. And hey, before the first college football playoff rankings come out on Tuesday, some big games for some big teams to play. We've got 6 more ranked teams on the ESPN networks tonight. You can watch every game streaming live on your mobile device or your tablet or your laptop. Watch ESPN app or watch ESPN.com. Houston, Duke, Michigan, Notre Dame, Temple, Stanford, all on our air tonight on the ESPN networks. So it'll be 3rd and long for Iowa on the other side of this break. This is the second meeting as Big Ten foes between Iowa and Maryland. The first time that Maryland has come out to Kinnick Stadium, where the Hawkeyes ran for 53, passed for 74, 127 total yards for the Hawkeyes. Got a fantastic day of college football on the ESPN networks. We've got one of the unbeatens in the country, number 10 Iowa, with a 7-0 lead, off to a 7-0 start. Maryland started 2-1, but 4 straight losses, including one to Ohio State. That was Randy Edsall's last as the head coach of the Terrapins. Second game with interim head coach Mike Loxley for Maryland. 3rd down 15, 5-man rush and a late blitz, and it gets to Beathard again. Second time he's gone down on the sack, and there is Yannick Ngakoue. That is 10 sacks for the second leading sack man in college football right now.
And that's exactly where Maryland would like to live this game, in third and passing situations, because they can turn Ngakoue loose and a bunch of guys on the line of scrimmage and get after C.J. Beathard.
So Will Likely, who has 4 punt return touchdowns and a kick return touchdown in his career, is back to return. Dylan Kidd, very solid punter for Iowa. Good hang time, and it forces Likely into a fair catch at the 22. It's a punt of 42 yards. Couple of games tonight featuring ranked teams. Little Brown Jug is up for grabs. Number 15 Michigan taking on Minnesota at 7 o'clock Eastern. College football primetime presented by Hilton. You'll see Stanford as well later on tonight, a ranked team going on the road, but a Washington State team that is looking for the upset win. Jerry Kill earlier this week announcing his retirement due to health concerns. It will be Tracy Claeys, his longtime assistant, taking over the head coaching duties tonight for the first time this season. He's done it in the past, and Jerry Kill has had some health issues, but he will be on the sidelines, not in the press box. He will be on the sidelines tonight when Minnesota hosts Michigan. All the best to Jerry Kill and his family. First down and 10. Hills over the middle, and a first down to Amba and a towel. Works his way out to the 36-yard line, a 13-yard gain. Adetawa has been a big play guy his entire career, the redshirt junior out of Georgia. First down and 10. Hills off play action. He's got a man streaking down the middle, and Adetawa. We said it. He is a big play threat. He averages 16 yards a catch his whole career. He's been able to bust big plays. That was Desmond King getting that assignment that time.
Well, Adetawa last year averaged 22.2 a catch, you know, so that's exactly what this offense needs. They need someone to take the top off the coverage, and that's what you see them trying to do right here.
Hills has already thrown a pick. 21 interceptions by the 3 Maryland quarterbacks that have thrown a pass this year. That's the most in college football. heavy blitz coming, so it's a give to the outside for Ross, and he gets chased down by the redshirt freshman Parker Hesse.
And Adam, against this Iowa defense, if you want to throw it on first down and you're unsuccessful, you have to be willing to throw it on second, or you're running into the mouth of a defense that doesn't give up a whole lot in the run game. 2nd and 10 for a defensive coordinator typically means a maintenance type of run. You don't want to do that against Iowa defensively.
Only Boston College and Michigan have been better against the run in terms of average yards allowed per game this year. 3rd and 14. Spreading it out with 5. Nobody with their hand down for the Hawkeyes right now, trying to confuse the quarterback. They rush just 3. With a spy in there as well, and the 3-man rush led by Nate Meyer still gets to the quarterback. Team leader in sacks is Meyer. That's 6.5 on his season. Boy, that interesting look pre-snap here.
Yeah, the radar defense, they call that. Nobody has their hand in the ground, and Ben Neiman, number 44, was the guy you talked about. He was the guy that was spying the quarterback, Perry Hills. Nowhere to go. Getting pressure with 3 is a good sign for Iowa defensively.
Low kick, a flag is, low snap I should say, but a flag is thrown for a false start before the play, as Pritchard was trying to boom one off.
Illegal snap. Offense, number 56. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
A false start for a snap infraction against the long snapper Nate Adams. This has been a punting unit that has not been very good for Maryland this season. They're 100th in the country in net punting, so that goes with the kicker and with the punt unit in terms of coverage.
And you're punting to a guy in Desmond King that can take one to the house at any second.
That's shanked off the side of the foot, and Pritchard hopes for a decent bounce. King actually ended up overrunning the ball, ends up grabbing it at the 40, and that's decent coverage on a not very good kick. A.J. Hendy runs him down after Pritchard shanks one. 12-15, first half. Back to Iowa after this. The record stood for 76 years. Will Likely, the outstanding cornerback for Maryland, as his defense is back on the field. Iowa takes over at its own 37. And it is Akram Wadley with a head of steam, and it feels like he's gone 3 or 4 yards before anybody ends up touching him. Jalen Brooks finally wraps him up and brings him down.
I'll give you a hint on that Affleck as well. We killed it last night in the production meeting, did we not?
We knew it. We knew it from the start. Now, I should also give credit to the fine sports information staff of the Maryland Terrapins and the Iowa Hawkeyes as well.
Yeah, but maybe some of that.
But we were there. We read it at the very least. 2nd down 5. Wadley again, this time trying to make that cut off his right foot. Slips down at the 42. And 3rd down and medium coming up here. What up, Duck?
Affleck.
What you got for us? Our Affleck trivia question answer. Niall Kinnick, the namesake of the stadium in which we are enjoying right now. 201 yards back in 1939. Nearly, or better than, I should say, 3/4 of a century-old record. And there is his statue, the 1939 Heisman winner. They named this stadium after him in 1972. World War II vet. 3rd down 5 against a 4-man rush. Beathard, long out for Vandenberg, and this time he beats Davis for the first time. Davis finally drags him down, but after a big gainer to the 35, it's a 23-yard pass play to Matt Vandenberg.
And the same route concept. Vandenberg is once again going to the corner. There's a route setting underneath him, and the safety can't quite get over the top. It was a good angle coming out of that break by Vandenberg right there. That same matchup again, you're exactly right. They like Vandenberg on number 21, Sean Davis.
Daniels is the deep back now for Iowa. There he goes with a big hole up the middle. He goes about 5 or 6 yards before somebody grabs him. This time it was Tyler Burke, and it ends up being a churned out 7-yard run for Daniels.
Daniels does a nice job. Watch the fullback right here is going to go this direction, but the cutback is right there. Vision leads to good cutting by running back right there. It was designed to go to the right to some extent, but the vision of Daniels allows him to get to the softness just left of the point of attack.
Second down and 3. Big crunch in the backfield. Daniels gets stuffed by Quinton Jefferson. Very good disruptive player to set up third down about 5. Here's we check in with Olivia.
Guys, Maryland's Kingsley Opara injured on the field after the last defensive drive. It appears to be a right shoulder injury. He was asked to flex his arm up towards his shoulder and then lift and extend it, and he kept shaking his head and said he couldn't. Tears falling into his lap, guys, clearly in pain. He went into the locker room.
Yeah, it did not look good when he landed. I think that weight just may have gotten the best of his arm there. So back in as you can do. Third down and 5. 3-on-3 on the outside. Beathard is looking in that troop set direction, and it was deflected by Jesse Annabonum. 4th down and 5 coming up here, inside of Marshall Kane's field goal range. Good play by the sophomore out of Silver Spring, Maryland. And let's see. They might lead the offense out here, Cal.
Yeah, 3rd and 5 or 4th and 5 is kind of a gamble, especially when you're in the field goal kicker's range. I'm not sure if I agree with this or not. 4th and 5 is a gamble, no doubt about it.
Now, Kane missed from 45 earlier today. I wonder if that has an
And going empty as well, and the quarterback draw is not on the table with C.J. Beathard's help.
With that right groin injury, they're going to rush 3 on a zone blitz. It ends up being one-on-one on the outside for Tavon Smith, and Sean Davis had the coverage, and the flag was thrown. Boy, Davis, who had really been good on the first 3 or 4 times he'd been tested, he's gotten beat a couple of times now, the last few times that the ball has been thrown in his direction.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 21. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
And we've seen Iowa throwing at Sean Davis quite a lot. Usually it's been Vandenberg running the route. This time it's Tavon Smith running the route, and they just get tangled up a little bit. I don't know. It looked like Tavon Smith was
little acting job, maybe, perhaps.
I think
there.
He was selling
he
one
sold
right
it pretty
there.
well, yeah.
But the physical nature of the former safety, Sean Davis, he likes to body up with receivers. That's kind of his game, and it cost him right there. But I think you're right. Maybe an Emmy for number 4, Smith.
Davis just came up. Jarrett Ross, bottom of the screen, guarding Jacob Hillier now. Here is Wadley shifting and shaking his way into Anthony Nixon for a short gain, about 3 yards there, second down. He plays in opponent's territory. Only 1 play across the 50 so far for Maryland.
Yeah, you can't score a whole lot not driving the football, there's no doubt.
And the only Maryland play was the fumble. The fumble
exactly.
by Ross that ended up leading to the first touchdown for Iowa. Lead block from Pleva. A slip of a tackle by Akram Wadley. And another rushing touchdown for the Hawkeyes. Second of the day for the redshirt sophomore. Averaging 6 yards a pop. And how about the last 2 games for the previously unknown Akram Wadley? Outside Iowa City, not a whole lot of people had even heard of this guy, but with the injury to Jordan Canzeri, the last 2 weeks, really 3 weeks, 2 games have belonged to Wadley. He's got 6 rushing touchdowns. 14-zip Iowa.
Akram Wadley is very instinctive. He got skinny through the hole. I think there is actually a penalty on that point after touchdown, but skinny through the hole right there. There wasn't a lot there. And then Wadley pays it off. It's very instinctive at the point of attack, and then there's that burst to get it in the end zone.
The play. Kick is good. Timeout.
No penalty. We'll step aside. It is Wadley again. Physicality on display, a 14-0 lead. Iowa City at Kinnick Stadium, and a couple of rushing touchdowns for Akram Wadley thus far. Taking advantage of some Maryland miscues in this game. Kane to kick away. He's got one of the best legs in college football. Very good hang time and a very good touchback rate, but Will Likely is going to bring it out from 5 yards deep, and he keeps his feet, and there goes Will Likely. Gets brought down by Marshall Kane, the kicker. out to the 23-yard line. We mentioned it, 2 touchdowns for Akram Wadley.
Yeah, Akram Wadley is a very instinctive runner. He has a little more wiggle in his step than does, say, a Daniels that's back from injury. But you can see he kind of gets skinny to the hole a little bit, but then he bursts through, and I like the instincts. You know, the idea is to get the running back one-on-one with the second or third level, and Wadley's going to win that most of the time.
And you said getting to the second level, 48 of those 60 yards after contact. He's been able to get past that first wave. Ty Johnson, the freshman, is in the backfield along with Perry Hills. He's going to release out. 4-man rush deep down the middle, and it nearly was intercepted by Jordan Lomax. 41st career game for the veteran safety. Had a very good game against Maryland last year. They were looking for DJ Moore down the middle.
Yeah, Jordan Lomax is the safety just playing center field right there, reading the quarterback's eyes, and that ball was just thrown to the wrong guy. There's no doubt about that. That isn't exactly where Perry Hill's going to make a living. He needs to be throwing out on the edge more than not, or out of play-action passing.
Whips one to Edwards. He'll get hit at the 30-yard line. What you got for us, Cassidy? Yeah, Cass, remember it was a Florida upset at Georgia last year. Georgia's trying to return the favor this season with a top 15 ranking next to Florida this version of the cocktail party. 3rd down and 3 here. Hills is going to empty it out. It's a design run with a lead blocker in Evan Mulrooney, his center, and he's able to get the first down. This seems to be a good scheme for them. Try to load up one side and try to go to the short side.
Yeah, the window dressing, Wes Brown, the running back, goes out to one side, and then it's a power play to the quarterback to the other side. That's the advantage of your quarterback being a viable runner of the football. You have to add a hat to the gaps up front, and Iowa didn't do it on the edge that time.
He's ran for 19 on 4 carries as as Perry Hills thus far. Past the halfway point of the second, 1st down Maryland. Hills off play action. Under pressure, it's a screen set up floating over the head of Wes Brown. Dangerous pass, and it ends up at 2nd and 10. This is an offense that was more of a pro-style setup for Perry Hills, who earned the job in the fall camp. He struggled in the second half of the second game of the season, so Caleb Rowe comes in. He starts to throw interception after interception, throws 12 picks in his 4 games on the field. Hills gets the job back, and they retool the offense to go towards his skill set, the running ability that Perry Hills has. On 2nd down, another design here, or perhaps a read, but either way, it's Miles Taylor bringing Perry Hills down, and it's 3rd down and long coming up.
And I think what you said there at the end is the key. When Perry Hill started to play again, the offense was designed around his strengths, not his weaknesses, which is he's not a good thrower of the football. That isn't the way Maryland's going to throw the ball, but it's his running ability and his toughness at that position that we've seen in the last 2 weeks. He's played really well. Radar defense once again.
Nobody with their hand down. Option play, left side Wes Brown. He's got a lot of room to cover, and he will not get there as Bo Bauer runs him down. It is now 0 for 5 on 3rd down for the Maryland offense.
And the speed option once again getting right to the edge, and it's a decent play, but what was wrong with it was the spacing between the quarterback and the running back. Wes Brown was too deep and too far behind the quarterback. He needs to be flatter and more outside.
So here is the New Jersey native who replaced the veteran Nathan Renfro, Nick Pritchard. With pressure coming, he stepped around it and delivered a nice punt with a good bounce. And it is grabbed by King as he runs out at the 19-yard line. Will there be a flag here? There seemed like there was a little bit of late contact with A.J. Hendy, and Desmond King is asking for it. Perhaps just ruled as incidental. If that is the case, it's a little bit of a break for Maryland, but a 43-yard punt. So King had already waved it out.
I don't think he's out of bounds, though.
Yeah, you're right. That's not a late hit. He wasn't even out of bounds. We're back after this. Turned into a really nice day. Feels like October, late October, final day of October. As we get set for this stretch run of the college football season, week 9 of the season. And a big Saturday in the NCAA. First down from the 19 for Beathard and the Hawkeyes. And an out route. Staying in bounds was Jermanique Smith, the true freshman out of Garland, Texas, with his 5th career catch. It's good for 13 and a first down.
That time we saw first down passing out of Iowa. Iowa's ran the ball 8 times on first down, averaging 7 yards on first down. That's how you win games. That's how you control the football.
This is still the same Iowa identity. Running it pretty much, like 3 out of every play. Is like 60% of the time they're still going to run the football, even though Kirk Ferentz and Greg Davis have shown some more spread looks, trying to get the quarterback run game involved, although not today with the injury to C.J. Beathard that he's dealing with, that right groin issue. Wadley chopped down in the backfield. Nicely done to penetrate that time by Brett Kolka, redshirt freshman out of Pennsylvania, with solid play for no gain.
And that's what you have to do. Is Brett Kolka did that time. You have to get the penetration. Iowa has a fullback in the game. A lot of times it's zone blocking up front, which simply means double team on the line of scrimmage. And one of those linemen, offensive linemen, are coming off onto the second level. And Iowa does that as good as anyone really in college football. They've been doing it here for a long, long while, and you have to penetrate that in order to disrupt the double teams.
Maryland loading up the line. They're going to bring 4, setting up the screen for Vandenberg, the slot receiver with his screen, and a big play inside of Maryland territory. Nixon finally catches up to him after a 21-yard play. He's their leading receiver. Does a lot of different things, as we've seen so far today. Deep down the field and now the screen.
That was a nice little kind of tight tunnel screen. Look at the offensive linemen getting out there in unison once again. Those guys up front, particularly Boone Meyer that time from his left tackle position. Those guys work so well together, Adam, on the line of scrimmage.
Vandenberg's got a couple of long plays. That's the 4th Iowa play for 20-plus yards already. This is Daniels. Staying on his feet, kind of hold on to that football, and he gets dragged down by Jalen Brooks. Brooks, the redshirt sophomore on the outside for Maryland. That's been a position that's been banged up this year for the Terps. Abner Logan was hurt in the preseason. Jefferson Asheru was hurt against Michigan. And now Brooks is now making his 3rd consecutive start at the weak side backer after he started the season at strong side linebacker. That's a position that's had a lot of turnover from last year to this year. Maryland basically had to replace their entire front 7. They went from a 3-4 to a 4-3 this season with a new defensive coordinator. Daniels again, and nowhere to go. Another good play by Jalen Brooks, right on cue, the redshirt sophomore out of Georgia.
And Jalen Brooks is obviously a smart dude as well. Remember, before he accepted the scholarship for Maryland, he was already accepted to both Harvard and Yale.
And Princeton.
And Princeton, what the heck? And so right now he's making a lot of plays out at that weak linebacker position, but you talked about it. The 4-3 was a better fit personnel-wise than trying to find those 3-down linemen in a 3-man front that have to be more 5-technique guys and more powerful guys. The guys up front for Maryland is all about movement.
Blitz coming. Beathard's protected. Long downfield for Vandenberg. Not a great throw, and double coverage out there anyway with Hendy and Likely all over Iowa's top target.
And Jacob Hillier, number 17, was sitting down right at the sticks, and C.J. Beathard just got greedy right there. Vandenberg was covered over the top and underneath, and that was not a good decision.
If this is field goal range, this would be a career-long 58-yarder for Marshall Kane, and as a matter of fact, it would be tied for the longest field goal in Iowa history. So Dylan Kidd is going to go out there to punt, try to keep it short. He line drives it over the head of Likely with a really good backspin. That is such a difficult kick to make, and Dylan Kidd perfectly pins the Terps. NFL Countdown, your NFL Sunday starts at 10 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN. We'll have a conversation with Cam Newton, sitting down with Lisa Salters before the Colts and the Panthers get set to go on Monday Night Football on ESPN. 3 timeouts, 2:07, but a long field in front of Maryland trying to get points before the end of this first half. Here comes Wes Brown, and he gets stuffed by Jaleel Johnson. A loss of a yard behind the line of scrimmage, and the redshirt junior from Lombard, Illinois, pumped.
Yeah, and Maryland's going to have to be very, very careful right here. You're running into the mouth of the beast. This Iowa defense defends the run so well. The question right now is, does Iowa want to burn some timeouts to try to stop this clock?
Yeah, they could have probably saved about 25 to 30 seconds if they had used one of their 3 remaining timeouts. Instead, the clock could get down all the way to about 1:22 if Perry Hills wants to burn it there. Indeed, 1:22, and the snap comes, and Wes Brown doesn't have much room as he gets grabbed by Josie Jewell, and now Iowa will use one of their 3 remaining timeouts with 1:17. So Kirk Ferentz uses one of those timeouts, the longest tenured head coach in the Big Ten. Played linebacker at UConn in the mid-70s before he started coaching there, and has worked himself into a 122-game winner, including 7 this season to start the year. This is what the playoff resume looks like, and that strength of record is something that is going to be a term that you college football fans are going to hear a lot of the next couple of days and the next several months.
And we'll get a look sooner than later. Maybe we can bring it up now that the 5 teams ahead of them, you know, and that's going to be the discussion. The strength of record is what you've done thus far, and then the FPI is looking forward. And Iowa has a great case of being the 10th team in the country right now going into November 3rd, where the College Football Playoff Committee is going to release their first poll. Or rankings, I should say.
The first one Tuesday night on ESPN, the initial college football playoff rankings for 2015. Maryland with 3rd down and 9. It's a rollout for Hills, trying to look downfield. He didn't have a whole lot of time to decide. Has to sprint across the 5. Iowa will likely use a timeout here as Nate Meyer closed out the play. And it will be 4th down. Iowa will force a punt and get the ball back, likely with decent field position. Kelly, this is what you were talking about, and I understand that the national landscape is still trying to figure Iowa out, understandably so. I think you can make a case that their 7-0 is legit. Their next few games are much more favorable, the back end of their schedule, but strength of record basically takes everything that you've already done. This is only up to this point in the season. Takes into consideration all those things. That's why Alabama, their 7-1 is more difficult to get to with their schedule than Clemson's 7-0 was.
Yeah, and I think most people, quite frankly, would be surprised that Iowa is on that list right there, sure. Strength of record. They can't do anything about what they have lying ahead of them, but they will face a really good team if they keep winning in the Big Ten championship game.
From under his crossbar, it's going to be a punt for Nick Pritchard. Pressure coming, and it is blocked. Bounds at the 15-yard line, and it was Aaron Menz, the redshirt freshman, coming up with a clutch play, the biggest of his young career.
And the effort of Aaron Menz on this play, he stumbles, regains, and then lays out. I mean, that is tremendous effort by Aaron Menz. He almost went to the ground. He caught himself, caught his balance, and then laid out at the very end. Perfect timing.
And now after the 212-pounder from Kansas City deflects that ball. He gives Iowa just 19 yards of ground to try to cover to get a touchdown with 1:01 and a timeout. Pressure from Ngakoue, a screen thrown, and this is going to be a holding penalty as Mitchell grabbed the screen pass. Ngakoue got held clearly by Boone Myers off the left side there.
Holding, offense, number 52, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Boone Myers gets called for that, the redshirt sophomore out of Webster City, Iowa, back for the first time since before the Wisconsin game, was dealing with a neck stinger. So he's back in the lineup tonight. Again, you had to replace 2 NFL tackles, including the Outland Trophy winner Brandon Scherf, who's with the Redskins, and then Andrew Donnell, who's with the St. Louis Rams. Well, first down and 20, and Iowa still in no hurry right now. They are within Marshall Kane's field goal range, but he missed from about this distance on his first field goal attempt. 4-man rush. They set up the screen for Hillier. Myers out there blocking for him, and it looked like he got tackled in bounds. Hillier was lunging towards the sideline. He worked his way to the 17. Not sure if he got out. If he did, they would stop the clock at 27, and they seem to be doing just that.
Yeah, the clock is definitely stopped, but I'm not sure he got out either. I think you might be right.
I wonder. I thought maybe
he did. I think his left shoulder was out, which means he's completely out. I think that was a good job by the officiating crew.
Yeah, you got a better look at it than I did, Cal, and that probably is the right call. So it stops with 27, and it saves that timeout for Iowa. Four-man rush, Beathard. Stepping up, underneath. Henry, Krager, Coble, lunging to the 2-yard line. The clock will stop to reset the chains at 19 seconds. Beathard wants to go right now and not waste the timeout.
Yeah, you have time to kill it right here. I think that would be the wise thing to do. The ball has to get marked. Right now, the clock is stopped.
So instead of wasting that timeout, which they may not necessarily, or they may need if they want to run the football up the middle here, they'll spike it, scrap the down, and it'll be 2nd down and goal.
Yeah, that was good time management. On the first down, the clock is going to stop until the ball is marked again, and then it's ready for play, and the official winds it so you can save it, get up there as C.J. Beathard did, and spike the football.
And it was the block on the punt by Aaron Menz that has set up this potential for a 3-touchdown lead at the end of the first half. Beathard rolling, firing. Incomplete for Vandenberg, and I wonder if that groin issue plays a factor into that type of short arm throw, because it didn't look very comfortable from Beathard.
The short arm throw, and he's on the move, right? It's a groin, and I think you're exactly right. He's going to his right, is Beathard, and this ball is low and away. And Hendy did a nice job of undercutting that route. A.J. Henry, the safety, coming over top of Vandenberg, and that ball was low and away, or it might have been picked off.
One of the strengths of Beathard is his ability, according to Greg Davis, to throw from different and awkward platforms. That was an awkward-looking platform. Could not connect. 3rd down and goal. They will run the football, and diving ahead is Derek Mitchell. He gets into the end zone for a touchdown, the 2nd in as many weeks for the redshirt sophomore out of St. Louis. And the block punt by Menz set it. They want you to talk to your kids about undefeated Iowa. Many of you probably saw that sketch on Game Day earlier today. Michael Borden, one of the writers for Tosh.0, put that together, and that kind of tells you what a lot of people think about Iowa currently in that 7-0 start and where they sit in the national landscape. Here's Will Likely. Solid return, but the clock is churning away. And he still pushes the pile, and that's actually going to burn the final seconds away from half number 1 here in Iowa City. Impressive stuff from Iowa. The 7-0 Hawkeyes, the top 10 team, have a 3-touchdown lead at the half. Maryland ball, we get you back to the studio after this message and a word from our ABC stations. For Olivia Harlan on the field as well. Iowa, people are still trying to figure them out, and so far through 7.5 games have been pretty darn good.
Well, let me help people out. This is what we're getting, an Iowa team that defends the run, runs the football, and they take the football away, and they like special teams. That's who Iowa is. I don't mean to sound boring, but that's really good football.
Now, this is what they've been doing most of the season. This is traditional Iowa stuff, and that's what it looked like really in that opening half of play. Maryland's going to get the ball to start half number 2. They got to get some explosiveness here right now. They've got Will Likely back to return. They need something big. Their offense can't get going. Maybe Likely, an explosive return man, can give it to him, but he runs into his own man, gets popped down at the 12-yard line. And into Berg on that play. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary from the first 30 minutes, and Akram Wadley getting right back at it after he had 4 touchdowns a couple of weeks ago against Northwestern. 2 more scores to add. And we talked about some miscues and some defense. Iowa coming up with it.
Yeah, and Iowa would do that. They take the football away. They turn you over a little bit, and the big special teams play as well. Aaron Mans gets the block punt. I mean, they do all the little things that make up football so well here in Iowa City.
Perry Hills did have a pick in that first half. Redshirt junior out of Pittsburgh, and a Central Catholic High School play action. Swinging it outside for Tavon Jacobs, his first catch of the day. Maybe Jacobs can be a spark. The redshirt sophomore picks up 4 yards on first down as Fisher runs him out.
And Adam, that may be the adjustment we see out of Maryland a little bit. Haven't been able to run it against this Iowa team. Get it out on the perimeter in the screen game a little bit and see if that can complement your run game.
Maryland started 2-1 for falling into this 4-game skid. They're 0-3 in Big Ten play. Granted, they played a couple of good teams already. Michigan, Ohio State. Coming off a 1-point loss against Penn State last week. This is a read play, and this is where Hills is at his best. Picks up the first down to the 25, running into Lomax, and we check in with Olivia.
Guys, Iowa has surprised Coach Loxley with how they're using the clock, staying in the huddle so long. He said our offense has hardly been on the field. At halftime, quarterback Perry Hills implored teammates, somebody on offense step up. In terms of defense, they've been able to contain big runners around the country like Ezekiel Elliott and Saquon Barkley at Penn State. I asked what was different about Akram Wadley, and they said they just need to maintain their gaps, and when they do blitz, they need to do so with urgency.
Really good stuff, Olivia. Yeah, Elliott had 100-plus yards, but he had to work to get that 100 yards when Ohio State beat Maryland. Down goes Hills, and Jaleel Johnson continues to be very impressive. That's his second tackle for loss. This is an Iowa team that had to replace some really good defensive tackles from last year.
Jaleel Johnson gets a good get off right in the middle and then comes off late. Good coverage down the field led to that, really what was a coverage sack, but in the meantime, Maryland is behind the chains once again, and they haven't been good at this area of the field and this area of the game.
Olivia mentioned time of possession. It feels like the Maryland defense has been out there. The Maryland offense only out there for about a dozen minutes in this game in that first half. See if they can get back in front of the chains and extend a drive. This is Ross. This is a good hole for Brandon Ross, and that's one of the best plays of the day for the Maryland offense as Ross takes it out across the 40-yard line.
A nice design. It was more of a kind of a delay type of draw play, and a little bit to the right. You get a Polar kicking out from the left, and then Ross gets it up inside.
This is a run for Hills, running left into King. For the first time, it felt like, and I'm sure we saw it a little bit in the first half, but it felt like we saw a little bit of tempo, trying to get the speed of the offense going a little bit.
And what people have to remember about tempo is you have to be successful at executing plays or you can't go fast. If the car's not moving, you can't drive it fast, and Maryland wasn't going anywhere in that first half.
So Hills is going to spread it out again. From the 48. That's Johnson, the freshman back. Speed option. Hills will keep it. Got grabbed by Hesse, who stretched that play out to the sideline well for no gain, and it's third down and medium to long here again.
And most likely Mike Loxley is in charge of the play calling here. When Maryland goes up tempo, he typically takes over if he hasn't been calling the plays. He likes that part of the game.
Mike Loxley and John Dunn have been kind of splitting the play calling duties. Still, Loxley is the main play caller for Maryland, but he's got other things to worry about as the CEO of the team now, too, including defense and special teams.
And out of that empty look at him, you always have to worry about quarterback Perry Hills carrying the football.
There's that radar defense, Kelly. Nobody with their hand down, and it's a 5-man blitz. Hills over the middle, through behind Jacobs, who's able to corral, but he's hit shy of the line to gain. And you wonder if that throw was a little better. Jacobs might have been able to pick up the first down You're in Iowa territory. This is 4th and short. You got to go for it now?
No doubt. You're down 21. This is your opportunity to get back in the game. I don't think this is a difficult decision at all.
Big play, maybe the biggest of the day so far for Maryland.
But you were right about the ball placement. Ball placement, accurate throwing leads to yards after the catch, and that ball was just a little bit behind the receiver.
They're going to go gun here on 4th and short. They need about a yard. Design run, first down. That was just a numbers game.
In that design was 2 linemen pulling, a power look actually going to the left, and then Perry Hills made a good decision because the softness was right down Broadway. The play was designed to go outside.
There was an injury timeout called by the lead official, Ron Snodgrass here. We didn't see a player down on the deck, but I think they may want to check up on Hills here, who took a pretty hard shot. He got back up pretty quickly, but Hills is limping a little bit off the field. Yep, I think he was the guy that the officials wanted to check on. The backup quarterback is Caleb Rowe, redshirt junior out of South Carolina. They also have Shane Cockrell, who's a sophomore out of Baltimore, has been more of a wildcat guy.
And Hill makes a good decision. You can see the power going outside, but he sees softness inside, and he takes a shot.
Yeah, you're right, Cal. That's probably a good idea to get him off the field, at the very least for the training staff to take a look at him. So Shane Cockrell, the sophomore out of Baltimore, former fullback and quarterback. He can play multiple positions. He's a wildcat guy. Design run to the right. And Cockrell got grabbed at the ankles by Miles Taylor, who's had a very productive day with a fumble recovery and a pick. It's a gain of 1, and it's 2nd down and 9. This does limit the playbook a little bit more for Maryland, and Cockrell is basically the 4th different guy to take quarterback snaps this year.
Yeah, because Cockrell basically is a fullback playing quarterback and trying to run the ball.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the same shimmy and shake nor decision-making that Perry Hills has.
They do have a package of plays that they run for him, but this could be extended time for Cockrell if Hills has to be out. And Cockrell will throw for the first time. It's deflected on that sidearm sling and out of the reach of Desmond King, who would have tied for the lead in interceptions in the country. He picked that one up. Parker Hesse deflected it, and after that one exciting but maybe not mechanically sound pass, Hills is back in.
And watch the arm delivery here. Not exactly the way you draw it up and the ball gets batted in the air, but Perry Hills is back in. And you're right, it's about the offense being designed around one guy, and the one guy is back in the game right there.
That's a tough spot for Cockrell to be in. He was trying to make something happen. Hills is back in. One of the longer drives of the day for Maryland. This is the 10th play, a 3-man rush. Hills gets rid of it under pressure, well short of the line to gain, and Wes Brown gets ripped down by Josie Jewell. And again, another 4th down coming up here. This is not 4th and 1. This is 4th and 6 now.
A little different, but you still need points to get back in this game, and I think right now Mike Loxley is saying, why not?
Don't forget, Maryland has one of the best field goal kickers in all of college football in Brad Craddock. He was the Lou Groza Award winner last year, and this is within his range. He's a very good kicker from beyond 50, but Mike Loxley's probably thinking we need 6. 4th down and 6. Well, what's Iowa going to do here? There's that radar look again, and a flag is thrown with the play clock winding down. It's going to be delay of game. That's a big penalty.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
And does this take him out of 4-down territory now? That's a huge
4
penalty.
down or field goal range. I mean, that's what you have to consider right here. Does this turn into a punt? Brad Craddock is good, but now all of a sudden, instead of a field goal being a question or you go for it on 4th, you're punting the football.
Yep.
That's why they're down 21 points.
That's a killer of a penalty for Maryland. Because this is, again, Craddock's great. I mean, one of the best. And he's got a great leg, but that's a lot to ask, a 57, 58-yarder from anybody. And Pritchard gets it away, and a very good punt. Got it off, and it's going to be a long field in front of Iowa with King making the fair catch. But, man, that penalty, a delay of game when they were going for it on 4th down and 6, that killed the drive. You can see the frustration on Mike Loxley's face. even match against Chris Young, Mets and Royals. We'll recap Game 4 of the World Series, get you caught up on everything that happens on this college football Saturday. Sports Center at night on ESPN after Stanford and Washington. The last time Washington State, I believe I said Washington. Washington State had a top 10 win. Drew Bledsoe was the quarterback. You got to go back to 1992 when Wazoo beat Washington. There's Akram Wadley, one of 3 running backs to score a touchdown today, and he gets knocked down after a gain of 3 by Brett Zanato. This is what's coming up for you tonight. Tracy Claeys will be on the sidelines for Minnesota. Houston, one of the ranked teams, one of those 3 teams in the American Conference in the top 25. You see Temple as well, and then Stanford Wazoo.
Yeah, the pirate on the Palouse. It's Halloween, right? Anything could happen in Pullman tonight, I guarantee you. And he's going to sling it around. They may throw it 70 times.
Second down 7 here. Wadley gets hit by Zanato once again. That's a Stanford offense that, since that loss to Northwestern, remember a team that Iowa beat, since that loss to Northwestern, that Stanford offense has been great. Hogan's been efficient, and McCaffrey's, according to Joe Tessitore's first Heismanology poll, he's number 3 according to all the Heisman voters.
Yeah, the all-purpose yards for Christian McCaffrey are absolutely off the hook.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's unbelievable, and what a weapon he is. But then they'll throw in three tight ends and maybe 7 offensive linemen at times. I mean, it's just unreal, the diversity of that offense currently.
We're in the driver's seat right now in the Pac-12. On third down, a slant caught by Vandenberg for a first down. Out across the 15 to the 20-yard line, they pick up 9 yards to move the chains.
That's a little different wrinkle in this offense that you're seeing currently with C.J. Beathard that maybe you didn't see from Greg Davis in the past. His ability to spread them out, go empty, throw the slant to the inside receiver. Vandenberg in this case, that's a little different. Go empty and throw the football. They're not slinging it 50 times a game, but that's a little bit more in the pass game than we've seen in the past out of Greg Davis.
It seems like an efficient offense right now for the most part. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, they're never going to wander very far from efficiency.
So there's Daniels on the edge, and he's knocked down after a couple of yards by Savage. C.J. Beathard, again, he's lost a couple of quarterback races. Jake Rudock beat him out a couple of times. Of course, Rudock, after Beathard was named the starter in January, very early, very close after the end of last season, after that embarrassing loss to Tennessee in the Tax Slayer Bowl. Beathard was the guy who was named the quarterback right away as a starter. Rudock eventually transfers to Michigan, and obviously he's having a very good run so far with the Wolverines as a graduate transfer. But Beathard has found that comfort level as the starting quarterback. He was always touted as having a really good arm, and obviously when he's fully healthy, you see that arm a little bit more on display. Back shoulder for Hillier, too tall, 3rd down and 7 with Davis in coverage.
And that decision about C.J. Beathard was mainly made because of his ability, really the upside in the pass game. But it's interesting, in 2013, this offense ran the ball 68% of the time.
Yep.
14, 61% of the time. This year, 61% of the time. They're not throwing the ball really anymore, but it's the explosive numbers that have gone up. They're a more explosive offense, more explosive in the pass game, and a lot of people say it's because of C.J. Beathard.
And again, 3rd down and 7, they go with a common college football look now, in the gun with a couple of receivers. The twist forces Beathard to awkwardly move out of the pocket, and he gets swallowed up, and Zanato having a really good series on defense for Maryland, shutting down that play, but that pressure was coming from all sorts of angles on Beathard, who's still nursing that right groin injury.
And when Maryland has gotten good coverage on the back end, they typically can get to the quarterback. It's happened a couple times. Single high safety, man-to-man underneath, and this is what happens. Zanato this particular time finally gets to C.J. Beathard, but he did not look like he was moving very well.
So nice job by the Maryland defense. Kidd will punt, with Likely back to return at the 45. 35-yard kick and good field position for Maryland on the other side of this break. A happy Halloween to you and yours. Hawkeyes excited for Star Wars. So are we at the Disney Company. For Olivia Harlan, back in Iowa City, unbeaten, and number 10 Iowa trying to move to 8-0 for the first time since 2009. Maryland shut out so far, but their best starting field position, and Will Likely is going to get an offensive touch. They've been trying to get him involved in offense, but this time he gets shut down by Nate Meyer in a loss of 2. They need a spark. Maryland needs it. Maybe Will Likely can give it to him.
Yeah, he got one try right here, but he ran into the wrong guy. Nate Meyer stays home, which he should do, setting that edge, and then there's the pressure guy. He gets across the line of scrimmage, gets as deep as the ball is, and gets Likely to the ground.
He had 30 rush yards. He did make his first career catch last week, and obviously was very good, as he usually is more often than not in the return game. But a good job by Meyer, former linebacker who's having a career season, to shut him down. And what do you see, Kelly, in the bottom right corner? 2nd and long, behind the chains. And you've pointed it out multiple times. Maryland just can't seem to get going, get any traction going. Hills, first time he's taken a shot downfield, and he overthrew his receiver. He found Jordan Lomax. Peyton Hills with his 2nd pick of the day.
Jordan Lomax is playing center field, essentially. It's a middle open or middle closed throw. The middle is closed. You don't make this throw right here.
Lomax and Miles Taylor out of Upper Marlboro and Silver Spring. DeMatha and Gonzaga, 2 of the best high school programs in the country, have picked off Perry Hills. Still a long field in front of Iowa, but they've got the 21-0 lead in the ball. And here is Daniels, big hole up the middle. They'll sprint out for a first down, out across the 15.
Well, Perry Hills needs to be aware of where the safeties are. Initially, you can see the too high look right here and right here, but what you're going to get is spinner safeties, they call them, and the go route by DeAndre Lane is outside, so you have to keep your eyes on the safety. Jordan Lomax ends up deep middle. You don't want to throw a post deep middle when there's a safety playing center field, and that's where Lomax was. I think Perry Hills just didn't see the safeties after the snap, and you have to do that as a quarterback throwing deep middle.
After that 16-yard run, Wadley comes back in the game. Got hit initially in the backfield by Azubuike, Ukandu, and then finished off by Quinton Jefferson. They're happy to have Jefferson back on the defensive side of the ball as Maryland, the redshirt junior out of Pittsburgh.
Remember those good run fits that Iowa's offensive line in unison with their running backs were getting in that first half. A little sloppy here in this third quarter, and I guarantee you that Iowa's offensive coaches want to see more out of this offense in the run game here as this game goes along in the second half.
The 4-man rush, and Beathard for the first time today is going to try to extend a play, and he goes diving across the 20-yard line, running into Avery Thompson, got 6 yards there. And again, it's always a concern probably for the coaching staff just to see how C.J. Beathard feels as he continues to deal with that right groin injury. We talked to you about it. He may not ever be at 100% for the rest of the season. Kirk Ferentz was very candid about it, but they would rather have C.J. Beathard that's banged up running this offense efficiently than anybody else right now. 3rd down 8. Safety blitz coming here for Maryland. The pressure is on. Beathard got rid of it, and it's incomplete as Derek Mitchell was floating out there. Good pressure by Yannick Ngakoue, who's had a decent game, quiet at times, but Ngakoue got into the backfield.
Ngakoue with the pressure, and then you talked about it. Jermaine Carter recognizes the running back, and then what you do is you retrace the steps of the offensive lineman, and they'll take you right to where that running back is on the screen, but the quarterback Beathard had to get rid of it quickly as well.
Well, Likely is back to return again. His kid back to return, or back to punt rather. Flag is thrown in the play as Likely makes the over-the-shoulder grab at the 32-yard line. And gets chopped down across the 35, and we'll go back and check that marker near the 20. Dr. Ron Snodgrass, 30 years in the Missouri education system. You get to call him Doc.
Offside. Defense. Number 31. Hilly's decline. First down.
They'll take the kick instead. Would have made it 4th and 2. But instead of repunting, they'll go ahead and take the field position. I mentioned it to you earlier. one of the unbeaten teams is going to be on your TV on Monday Night Football. How about Cam Newton and the Panthers? #1 draft pick at 1 point, Cam Newton taking on another one in Andrew Luck. The Colts coming off that loss to the Saints last week. 3-4 on the season, trying to get going. Where's Chuck Pagano's head at? Where is his status? A lot of storylines to cover. Monday Night Football starting with Monday Night Countdown, served by Applebee's at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. 5 unbeatens left in the NFL. It's a lot of them this late in the season. We'll see one of them on Monday Night Football. First down and 10 for Maryland. There's Brown trying to slither through. That was an exceptionally patient run by Wes Brown. And he picks up 9 yards to the 45-yard line.
And Maryland would like to go pace, as you've talked about before, Adam. Tempo is a big part of what they want to do, but with those spread teams, you have to understand they have to be efficient. They have to execute well in order to get that tempo going.
Hills is 7 of 13 today. It's right around his normal completion percentage, 53% of the season. He's run for 40 yards as well. This is a design run, got a block from Brown. He's got the first down, close to midfield. 95 ticks for this third quarter. Perry Hills, same high school as Dan Marino, Central Catholic in Pittsburgh, PA. Mike Locksley basically named him the solid starter when he took over as the interim head coach. He said, I don't want this kid looking over his shoulder. And we hear that a lot in college football these days because there are very talented quarterbacks. Some of them play for the same teams. Oftentimes, a lot of these guys are nervous whether or not they're going to be the guy on a consistent basis. Hill's setting up, good coverage downfield, and he'll turn it into a gain. Penalty markers come flying in, though, as he dives to the 46-yard line.
Perry Hills getting out right there at the end of that play. Someone might have got his face mask. Didn't hang on to it, but I certainly think a defender got to the face mask to begin with.
Now tack on some yardage here for Maryland, help them get deeper inside Iowa territory.
Personal foul, face mask, defense. Number 67, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Jaleel Johnson, and this is going to help Maryland out a little bit. A fresh set of downs trying to get deeper into Iowa territory here.
And Maryland needs some help offensively. They haven't got much going, but Jaleel Johnson has been very active, but there's the left paw coming out. He did hang on to it for a time, but Jaleel Johnson's been very active. If Maryland can get in the end zone right here going into the fourth quarter, they'll feel much better about themselves for sure.
This is the deepest that Maryland has been in Iowa territory all game long, 31-yard line. And a chance for Hills and the Terps to try to get on the scoreboard. They've been shut out once already this year by Michigan. The fake, the screen, thrown out to the sideline. Maryland trying to push this football a little bit further forward. It's Jarvis Davenport, a true freshman out of Tampa, Florida. A rare catch for him. He picks up 2 yards to the sideline. Just the 6th time that Maryland is running a play in Iowa territory. This is the 7th, and it is Wes Brown working to the 26, but a penalty marker comes flying in once again.
Tavon Jacobs and Desmond King were jousting down here at the bottom, clear away from the play, and the official finally got tired of it, but I'm not exactly sure who's going to get called for it. That's where the action was.
Illegal shift, offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat second down.
And Mike Locksley has seen at times some sloppiness from this Maryland team, trying to find some consistency. He's been a part of some transitions in his career as a coach. Remember, he was a running back coach at Maryland over 2 coaches, Ron Vanderlinden to Ralph Friedgen. He was at Florida when Ron Zook was transitioning out and Urban Meyer was coming in. He eventually followed Zook to Illinois. And here he is again, transitioning from the Randy Edsel era into his stint as an intern. He's familiar with this situation and trying to keep the guys loose. That's something he said he wanted to do with the awkwardness of this situation and what it could potentially bring for Maryland. Second down 13, here is Brown. Wes Brown with a burst and a first down. It's a big run for Wes Brown to the 15-yard line. Let's see if they run another play here, trying to get the tempo going.
look at the pulling lineman. Michael Dunn gets a good job of sealing off that edge, and then you can follow the lineman. Go ahead, Adam.
5 seconds left in this half. Hills to the end zone, broken up.
Well, that play has been their best play. You can follow the lineman, or you can give the running back the benefit of the doubt and just find the softness.
So we're through 3 quarters. It's a 3-touchdown lead for Iowa. Maryland is on the doorstep really for the first time in this game, but man, Peyton Hills has been taking a beating at times today. ESPN College Football continues after this message and a word from our ABC. Back in Iowa City, a scoreless third quarter. Maryland in the red zone for the first time today. This is the second time they've had a drive longer than 6 plays. Will Likely is in the game on offense for Hills. Nothing downfield, and he's got to take off on 2nd and 10, trying to keep his feet, but Josie Jewell came in. May have gotten a piece of that face mask, which has been a popular target for the Iowa defense. 4 flags come flying in from all directions.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 43, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Mistake by Josie Jewell. He's going to look at Phil Parker, the 17th year staff member and the defensive coordinator for Iowa.
At Josie Jewell, 43, you can see it coming in right there. Iowa had it defended very well. A tunnel screen on one side and Will Likely motioning out the opposite direction, and the quarterback keeps it.
Likely's now off the field. Brown in the backfield with Hills. Fresh set of downs, 1st and goal. Hills over the middle, back of the end zone. That's a heck of a throw by Hills to find Tavon Jacobs for a touchdown. 2nd career touchdown for the redshirt sophomore. How about that strike from Hills? That was about as solid of a throw as we've seen today.
And read it really well also. What Iowa will do down deep in the red zone is they'll set up basically a picket fence on the goal line, and Tavon Jacobs ran a nice route, kind of a stutter move, gets over top of that picket fence, and then Hills throws a BB to him.
First time we get a look at Brad Craddock, the Lou Groza Award winner last year. Adds the extra point. Iowa doesn't allow teams into the red zone very often. That was just the 15th time that anybody has even gotten into the red zone against the Iowa Hawkeyes. But Perry Hills coming up with a big-time throw for the first time ever. We'll see C.J. Procise against that efficient Temple defense. 8 o'clock Eastern time on ABC and streaming on Watch ESPN. First time in 81-plus minutes of football that Iowa's given up points, and an outside kick attempt by Craddock, and it's picked up by Iowa. It is Falconer. Adrian Falconer, the freshman out of Leesburg, coming up clutch.
And great recognition by Adrian Falconer attacking the football. He doesn't have to wait. You can go get it, and he does just that. Falconer recognizes it and attack the football right there. The kicking team can't touch it until it goes 10 yards, but the receiving team can go get it. And Falconer does that right there. That was very good recognition on special teams by Iowa.
And very good field position here for the Hawkeyes as well. Movement off the left side for the Hawkeye front unit.
Ball start, offense, number 52, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
And Cassidy has an update for us.
Are you kidding me?
We saw Colorado earlier this year, and they've given a fight to a lot of Pac-12 teams this season. How about Beathard showing off some moves, and C.J. Beathard out of bounds at the Maryland 44-yard line, shoved out by Sean Davis. Pac-12 is still an anomaly to me, just based on seeing, obviously Stanford's been very good, but UCLA has a big win, then they suffer a kind of surprising loss earlier in the season, Arizona State. You see Cal coming up with a big win, then they get shellacked in another game. I mean, it's a mix of what we're seeing.
Who is Utah right now after getting taken behind the woodshed by USC? You're right, that conference is difficult to figure out. Usually we can count on Oregon, and maybe we can count on them again. They're starting to play pretty well.
Yeah, they've gotten away from that shaky start. A triple overtime classic against Arizona State the other night. Here is Smith, first down inside the 30-yard line. It's chopped down by Davis at the 29. Fresh set of downs for the Hawkeyes inside of Maryland territory.
Tavon Smith runs a really good just curl route right there on Sean Davis. A crisp route. Act like you're going vertical and then snap it off. Use that right hand to push off just a little bit and clear the defender. Sean Davis is very physical, and Tavon Smith was physical right back to it.
Sprained his right knee. Smith in the first quarter against North Texas had to have arthroscopic surgery to remove his meniscus. It's the healthiest he's felt since. Here is Wadley. And a short game, about a yard and a half, maybe 2 yards on the play. Second down coming up.
I don't know whether to give Maryland credit for playing better in the front seven defensively, or Iowa's offensive line just isn't getting it done up front like they did in that first half. The third quarter in the run game for Iowa was very, very sloppy, and I guarantee you that Kurt Ferentz didn't like a bit of that.
On second down, Beathard over the middle, and Smith was being guarded by Davis, and another flag is thrown here. This has to be a frustrating day for Sean Davis, who, as Kelly has talked about, is a former safety and is a physical type of defensive back, but that's an adjustment that you have to make playing against quick outside receivers.
Pass interference, defense, number 21. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
And Adam, Tavon Smith is the X-receiver, which simply means you put him to the weak side a lot and create a matchup that you like, and Iowa likes this matchup. Smith on Sean Davis, and Sean Davis's game is more physical, but when you have a quick receiver creating space, Davis hasn't handled that very well.
First down and 10. Beathard's got one-on-one at the top of the formation. That's Vandenberg, their top target out there against Darnell Savage, the true freshman. They'll run away from that, and Wadley ends up kind of getting chopped down by his own guy, making Pleva. Good penetration, though, that time by the safety, Anthony Nixon. Ngakwe was back there, too.
Yeah, Nixon was a defender being added to that run fit and got the penetration, and that's what you have to do against Iowa. We talked about that in the first half. You have to penetrate that zone scheme and blow up that big fullback as well, and Anthony Nixon does a very good job on that play.
Anthony Nixon, senior out of Pittsburgh, part of a veteran secondary for Maryland that has combined for 122 career starts. The front seven a little younger. The back end's been very seasoned. Here's the blitz from Maryland. Beathard swallowed up and down he goes. There is Quentin Jefferson, second on this team, now over 5.5 sacks. A loss of 9 to force third and long.
Quentin Jefferson is a load. He's right here. He's just going to work his way quickly up inside, and that's the explosiveness you see right there. It's a quick swim move. You saw that. The right hand grabbed the shoulder. The left hand swims over top of Walsh, and Quentin Jefferson blows it up. That's a quick move from a big man.
3 starts last year before a season-ending knee injury against West Virginia. Man, they're happy to have him back on that front four. Blitz again from Maryland. Beathard under pressure, hit as he throws. Smith trying to corral it, and at the very last second, it was ripped away by Alvin Hill. Boy, good hands by Smith. Better play by Alvin Hill.
Yeah, Hill makes a nice play at the end and encourage young players defending the football. Go break up the pocket right there. That's what you do. When the football arrives, the play's not over. That was decent coverage, but if you finish the play, as Alvin Hill did right there, a lot of times you can just strip the football.
44-yard try here for Marshall Kane. This would make it a 3-score game. There's a penalty marker thrown as Kane buries it down the middle. Beautiful kick, but got to check the flag.
Illegal formation offense. More than 4 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down.
So it'd be a 49-yard try if Kane were to do it again.
Translation is one of the offensive linemen had a little bit too much room getting off the line of scrimmage there.
And there's a reason an offensive lineman can't be lined up in the backfield, because he gets an extra step to try to block forward. That's why that rule is in place. Kane, who was iced before that 57-yard game winner against Pitt, now moves back 5 yards and gets another try. He's used to having to kick twice in a row. And this one from 49, just as good. So that makes it a 3-possession game. Iowa up 24-7. And on the way back, even thousands to an Aztec festival dedicated to goddesses. Adam Amin, Kelly Stauffer, Olivia Harlan here in Iowa City on this Halloween Saturday. And you set to go for a big night of college football on the ESPN networks as well, as Kane kicks away and Will Likely will grab it about a yard deep. Here's Will Likely looking for a seam, and there's the burst for Will Likely with a marker thrown. He's grabbed by Kane and brought down out across the 45-yard line. Got to check the penalty marker back at the 30.
Holding, receiving team, number 36, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So Elvis Denna got caught for that holding penalty. Let's take a look at today's Good Hands play. It's brought to you by Allstate. A couple of really impressive plays. This one from George Kittle. Watch the one-handed grab you might see on SportsCenter tonight.
Ooh, that's good stuff.
And then on the defensive side of the ball, Jordan Lomax, who had one of his career games last season against Maryland, has his second career pick. That came on a Perry Hills deep shot down the middle, one of those rare shots that Hills has taken. But they're only down by 17 now. Still a 3-score game, but Maryland is on the board trying to get going offensively again. And here is Perry. And Perry Hills has a first down out across the 35-yard line. The toughness has been on display ever since they retooled the offense to his running skill set. He has shown off the ability to run. 170 yards on the ground against Ohio State. Another 100-yard game last week against Penn State. He's got 58 yards on the ground today. Now he's going to pass against the 4-man rush. Releases out to Ross, close to the sticks, and he dove across him as Fisher and Maben were both there to jar him out.
See, if Maryland can just get that much out of their pass game, the way their quarterback adds a hat to the run game, and they can get a little bit out of the pass game, they would have something going.
Number 47. Design run, Ross blocking, and into Iowa territory goes Hills. Grabbed and brought down by Hesse.
And those last two were by design. The personal protector on the first one was an offensive lineman pulling that time. As you pointed out, Brandon Ross was leading Perry Hills around the edge.
Hills with back-to-back 100-yard rushing games. There hasn't been a Terrapin with 3 straight 100-yard rushing games in a decade. Lance Ball was the last man to do it for Maryland. We're talking about a quarterback trying to make it happen, 3 straight 100-yard games. Fake to Ross on that read, and there goes Hills again, still on his feet. Perry Hills inside the 30 to the 25-yard line. 24-yard run.
And a good little mix in the run game, and it's all about quarterback design. Pull lineman or lead the running back, but the ball carrier is the common denominator, Perry Hills.
Tempo again. Here's Ross. Good seal block along the edge. Tried to find the alley and got about 4.5 to 5 out of it, running into Fisher.
And then Maryland can go a little bit more tempo because they're getting a flow on this particular drive.
Iowa's rush defense, one of the best in the country. Only Boston College and Michigan have been better so far today, and Hill's doing most of it. 158 yards on the ground for the Terps. They said they wanted to run right into the Iowa wall, trying to do it with their big, strong, brute quarterback, who takes it up the middle again and has a first down. Takes a hard shot, maybe lost the football. Jordan Lomax delivering the blow, hoping to get on the bottom of that pile.
And that ball definitely popped out, and I think Maryland might have been fortunate to jump back on it, but Jordan Lomax put the wood to Perry Hills.
What a hit by Lomax. It looked like the center, Evan Mulrooney, recovered it.
Same play, opposite side. They just flipped the formation, and that was a brutal attack by the safety. 5'10", 205-pound senior.
What a hit that was. He's been banged up in practice all week. He delivered a bang to Hills right there. But it's 1st and 10 for Perry Hills and the Terps from the 12. Hills, that's a tunnel screen, and he threw it, intercepted, right into the hands of Desmond King. The junior out of Detroit will take it to the house. Desmond King now tied for the NCAA lead with 7 picks this year.
Well, Perry Hills is going to fake a screen to the right and try to throw the tunnel back to the left. He throws it quite blindly, and obviously it's an errant pass. And Desmond King's a dynamic player. He's a return guy, and he certainly knew what to do with that. That just became a return once he had it in his hands.
Second career pick 6 for Desmond King. The first one came October 11th a year ago against Indiana. It was his first career interception. He has been dynamite over the last 12 months for this Iowa defense. The junior out of Detroit with the 3rd Iowa pick of the day and a big score to go up, 24. 23 interceptions thrown between the 3 Maryland quarterbacks. I guess technically you could say 4 with Cockrell getting some action today as a passer too. Boy, look at Will Likely go. Will Likely, he's got a seam. He's just got to beat Marshall Kane. Will Likely, what an answer. All the way home, touchdown. The 2nd career kick return for a touchdown by one of the most explosive receivers, cornerbacks, and return men in the country. 100 yards to the house.
This is very well blocked, but quite frankly, this is about speed. Watch it right down Main Street. Very well blocked. Wes Brown gets up there in the end. And then it's just about speed and getting the punter to the ground. That was very well blocked.
Unofficially, it's 105. Officially, it goes down. In college football, it goes down as a 100-yard return. But he had to take it out of the end zone that time as well. He's had a couple that he's had to take out of the end zone for touchdowns. Did it against Stanford in their bowl game last year, and now does it against Iowa today. Hills is having some trouble maybe getting back out onto the field. The play clock just started going. They're going to go for 2, and the reason they're doing this is because it makes it a 2-score game, a 16-point game if they can convert here. It's a big play right now for Maryland. A design run to the left, and Hill's just trying to beat him to the pylon, and he does. Able to step around the edge and get there past Matt Nelson. That makes it a 2-score game halfway through the 4th. Kelly and I were kind of looking at this formation here with Likely out there. Wonder if maybe this is set up for a second potential onside kick try. The last one went 10 yards, but it was grabbed by Falconer for Iowa. You always have to be aware of that because, as Kelly aptly pointed out to me in the break, if Maryland kicks off, Iowa may not give the ball back because they're about as good at churning clock as any team in the country. Let's see. It is an onside kick. Chip shot, and there's Jacob Hillier who gets buried by Will Likely. But a good over-the-shoulder play by the redshirt senior from Texas. Let's take a look at today's AT&T Strong Performance. We will highlight Will Likely because he's done things in multiple phases today.
Yeah, Will Likely, that was the first play of the game. He comes up and blows up the bubble screen, and then this big play to get this game within 2 scores. Ty Johnson doing a nice job of blocking the punter to the ground right at the very end, but we needed to see more of number 4 today out of for Maryland to get back in this one.
Second career kick return for a touchdown. Nobody has more total return yards in punts and kicks than Likely.
And you can see it when he gets the ball, he wants it so bad.
Ball spotted at the 46. There was an offsides penalty against Maryland on that onside kick. So had they converted, it would have come back anyway. The 5 yards is assessed at the end of the kick. So good field position again for the Hawkeyes, and Wadley got dragged down by Jarrett Ross, the backup cornerback, after a 2-yard gain. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. We duck towards 7 minutes to go in the fourth. Maryland was shut out through 3. Last week, what was the big problem, Kel? 5 turnovers.
Yep.
This week, 4 turnovers for Maryland.
They'll kill you, and usually Iowa wins the turnover takeaway battle. That's part of their game. And then Likely and King, both very good return guys.
King had the 88-yard pick six deep in Iowa territory. Came up clutch on a bit of an awkward, wayward pass from Hills. There's Wadley spinning, and he works his way to the 45-yard line. Gain of 6, sets up 3rd down and short. Wadley's been really good in ball security today.
Yeah, and that has been one of his issues right on the year, and I think it was the Northwestern game a couple of weeks ago where he started to gain back the confidence of his play caller, Greg Davis, and his team as a whole, and he's carrying the load here today. And this is all about drive killing.
Yeah.
2 tight ends, 2 running backs, eke out a 1st down and possess the football.
Yeah, Maryland, if they can get a stop here, this would be huge for them just to stay in this game. And indeed, they get the stop. Wadley stretched out to the edge, and Ross in the backfield to help close it out. Anthony Nixon, the first man there, though. It brings up 4th down and short. It was a big play for Mike Loxley's defense. C.J. Beathard still waiting for a call. You know, 5:40 to play. It wouldn't shock me to go for it on 4th down here with as well as...
I think they run the clock, but I think you have to punt this football. The only way Maryland can get back in it right now, or the quickest way...
Field position here,
Absolutely.
if you give it up for him. Okay, no, that's a great point. Great point. You do got a kick to Likely. And with 1 second on the play clock here, we'll go ahead and take that timeout. Well, let's see if they take the 5 instead. We'll see.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
So they'll keep the timeouts. Doubleheader tonight, college football primetime presented by Hilton. Little Brown Jug, first time that Jim Harbaugh is coaching in it. Michigan and Minnesota with Tracy Claeys manning the sidelines for the Gophers, and then Christian McCaffrey and number 8 Stanford on the road at the Palouse at 10:30 Eastern time tonight. Doubleheader on ESPN with ranked teams. Kid gets rid of it to the sideline. Good bounce inside the 20. Likely does not have a return, and that's probably what Kid wanted. Stay away from that guy.
Well, first of all, it was about catching the snap. We just saw Michigan play Minnesota.
Yeah, hey,
Michigan punter catch the ball and just get it off. That was what Kirk Ferentz was telling Dylan Kidd, no doubt.
The Hawkeyes were actually on the bus back home from their game. They were watching that Michigan State ending. What a finish. What a season it's been. The parody continues. I got a great tweet from my buddy Peter Burns at the SEC Network who said, I'm not mentally prepared for an Iowa Hawkeye team to go unbeaten in this American landscape of college football. I thought it was a really funny tweet, but it kind of epitomizes what the rest of the country might think about the Hawkeyes outside of Iowa City. But they're unbeaten right now, trying to come up with a defensive stand. And meanwhile, Maryland, which has gotten back into this game, picks up 5 yards from DJ Moore.
Well, Adam, I told you at the top, one of my favorite words is conundrum. You know, kind of a brain teaser, something you don't know what to do with it, and that's Iowa going forward in the college football playoff world.
First rankings come out Tuesday on ESPN. 2nd down and 5 for Perry Hills. Trying to step forward, ran right into the big body of Nathan Budgeta with Hesse from behind, taking him down. 3rd down. 4:35 to play. Maryland's got to go, though.
If you're Maryland, where do you get your explosive plays from? It's come in the run game, and they've lacked in the explosive pass game. It's been basically non-existent.
There's DeAndre Lane on the outside. Third down and 4 could be the game right now. Just 1 of 8 on 3rd down. Hill's looking for an angle. Trying to stretch it to the edge. Staying in bounds. Hurling it downfield and overthrown and incomplete. Closest man to it was Tavon Jacobs.
If Tavon Jacobs could have read his quarterback just a little bit earlier, even though he was under pressure from Josie Jewell, he didn't read his quarterback, but there was some room downfield. The quarterback sees it, the receiver stopped just a little bit, but there was a big play there waiting to happen.
Hills took a hit from Jewell. He was a little bit slow to get up. And then Nate Meyer for Iowa kind of got a piece of Hills and had to gingerly come off the field as well. So concern on both sides. 4 minutes to play. And Pritchard will kick to King. Short punt. It'll bounce past King, and he could not hold on to it. Did he touch it? He did not. The officials will rule that he did not make contact with it as Davis tried to take it to the house. But no contact, so no touchdown. Get another look at it here. King reached for it, certainly. Nope. That actually may have ended up hitting the foot of a Maryland player.
It wasn't because Desmond King didn't want to touch it. It just bounced, a low bounce just when he was trying to grab it. Fortunate for him, by the way.
And King's interception for a touchdown, one of the momentum plays in this game. Likely responded with a 100-yard kick return for a touchdown, but it's still a two-score game at that point. 3:53 to play. And Iowa goes back to work. The give to Daniels. The Hawkeyes trying to churn out some of this clock right now. Let's take a look at the bright side. It's brought to you by CarMax, and the bright side seems to be leaning towards the Hawkeyes here.
The bright side is on the right side right there. You want all of those numbers on the right side, and that's how Iowa wins football games. They get turnovers, they score points off of turnovers. They're very good on third down, and they play the red zone well, really on both sides of the ball.
I like that. The right side is on the bright side. You're an everyday Fetty Wap, Kelly.
I'm not sure what that means, but I'm insulted by it nonetheless.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, defense, number 7, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. This is the first unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yannick Ngakoue, that was a late flag. There were 3 late flags that came flying in there.
And Ngakoue was in the grill of Boone Myers, the left tackle for Iowa.
There's 7 right there against 52. And just, that shove right at the end there.
And that's a little frustration out of Ngakoue. He hasn't had a whole lot to do today. He's been held at bay pretty well by, a lot of times, by Boone Myers, quite frankly.
Get this clock down to about 3:15 or close to it. They'll take the snap here. And it's Daniels. Getting chopped down by Azubuike. You can do. And again, some of that frustration seems to show a little bit right now.
Timeout. Maryland, they're first. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Mike Locksley saying, hey, get over here, get over here.
If you're going to use your timeouts right here, why did you punt the football with a little over 4 minutes left?
You figure if you're going to give the ball, we made the point of what, with about 7 minutes to go, if you give the ball up, you may not get it back because, again, Iowa is what, top 15 in the country in time of possession. They run the ball effectively. That has to come into consideration, maybe, you would think, late in situations, right?
And it wasn't a great situation that Mike Locksley had the last time they possessed it on 4th down, but Iowa's all about killing clock. I mean, that's kind of what they do naturally, let alone when it's a 4-minute situation when that's the intention. Kurt Ferentz understands that it's about possessing the football, running it right now, and keeping the clock moving. I don't know, if you're Mike Locksley, I guess you hope for a turnover, anything like that out of the ordinary, but that's not Iowa either.
They won the turnover margin +3 today. There's Daniels turning forward. And Jermaine Carter brings him down. See if Maryland uses a timeout.
Timeout. Maryland, they're second. 30-second timeout.
You know, we've got a moment. We're talking about Iowa being the clubhouse leader in the Big Ten. How about the clubhouse leader for a couple of major championships? Zach?
It makes you, the appreciation I have for these fans and the support of their own is just tremendous.
Zach, thank you.
My pleasure.
He does some fantastic work in the Cedar Rapids and Iowa City areas with his charity, with him, his wife, and his family. They do a fantastic job. And all the best to Zach Johnson, the, what was it, 07 Masters champion, then earlier this season, Open Championship. Let's check in with Cassidy as Maryland calls timeout.
Timeout. Maryland, their third and final timeout. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Kind of what we were expecting in that ball game, right? I mean,
how high can scoreboards go? Because that might be like triple digits. That's the way games are going to be there. And down the stretch in that conference, Adam, that is going to be very interesting.
You know, we were thinking about Texas Tech we saw Texas Tech, I should say, last week. They had some trouble against that Oklahoma defense. Oklahoma State had been touted as one of the better rush attacks in terms of sacks, getting to the quarterback. But they're susceptible to giving up some big plays. We're starting to see that today with that high-powered Texas Tech offense looking more like itself.
Yeah, this was the one that I think Oklahoma State had to get by. Win this one in Lubbock, because remember what they do in November.
They're at home.
TCU, Baylor, and Oklahoma all come into their own place. So they'll be in a good position if they can survive Lubbock right now.
Beathard is out there for 4th down and 4 with a 2-score lead. They figure if they can get these final 4 yards, it'll do it. Daniels is the deep back. They've got Pleva at fullback. They get a hard count here. Not sure if Beathard's going to snap it or not, but if they do get a hard count, it would be a 5-yard penalty, and that would be a first down. Yep, that's exactly what they were trying to do. If they get a 5-yard penalty, it's a first down.
Delay game. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
So they'll take that 5-yard penalty, 3 minutes to play, and likely punt it now. You know, we were talking about the football power index. Again, this is a very good measure as to what the performance of a team will look like. As we get closer to the end, this not only takes into consideration what's happened, but future performance as well. Baylor right now has the best track based on what they've done and what they have remaining to be one of the top 4 teams in the country. Oklahoma, TCU, Baylor, the 3 teams at the top right now out of the Big 12. Kidd will try to cough and kick it. Did he get it by the pylon? He did not. That was perfect. Wow. It's hard to get excited about punting in college football because coffin corner kicking is dead.
One of my pet peeves.
It's dead. That was impressive by Dylan Kidd right there, whose dad, John, was a hell of a coffin corner kicker in the NFL.
I mean, this is picture perfect. You know, they've gone to that Aussie kick where you punt the football straight up and down and kind of back it up end over end, but Dylan Kidd does both. He puts that one out on the 3-yard line. I'd like to see more of that. I hate it when the ball goes into the end zone and you give a team 20 yards they didn't earn.
And his dad, John, punted at Northwestern, then 16 years in the NFL with Buffalo, San Diego, Miami, and the Jets. I think he just was smiling somewhere, knowing that his son just put together that type of kick to pin Maryland deep. Does Hills have anything left in him? And does this offense have anything left to try to move this deep down the field? 97 yards in front of him. Johnson on the pressure, and it's 2nd down.
And the answer is I don't think so. They just don't. Maryland doesn't have any downfield throwing ability really at this point in time. Bad things have happened when they tried to throw it very far down the field this entire season with all the turnovers by the quarterbacks.
Nothing there. Jewell right on top of Wes Brown.
Not a very fun position to be in right now, Adam, if you're Maryland, backed up against Iowa's defense when you have to throw it. The quarterback standing in the end zone. Not good stuff.
One of 9 on 3rd down today are the Terps. Hills deflected by Jewell. What a play. So it's 4th down. See if Maryland goes for it here. Or if they're content to punt the football away and not to use this term as a surrender tactic, but wave the white flag for lack of a better metaphor here just to kind of close this out. This was a tough day against a tough defense. I don't think you can not deny the toughness of this guy, though. Perry Hills. I don't think you want to play against this guy on the opposite side. He's a bowling ball that runs into you with a lot of brute force. Pritchard. Good bounce inside the 30-yard line. Minute 51 to play. Maryland's out of timeouts. Iowa can knee this one to an 8-0 start. But quality wins, and as we've said, the first college football playoff rankings come out on Tuesday. You'll see the show on ESPN. This is one of the easier schedules for a Power 5 team in terms of the Football Power Index, 65th toughest remaining strength of schedule, which is a pretty high number in terms of ease. So not to say that these games will be easy, but Iowa's favored heavily in the first 3, and then it's about a 50-50 split on the road at Nebraska.
The trip to Indiana is going to be a tricky one.
Yeah, I agree.
But the other 3 teams in this year are all in various states of disarray, so I think this Iowa team is going to find a really good opponent, maybe in the conference championship game, and that's going to be interesting for the college football playoff world.
Again, FPI win-out percentage for the remaining Power 5 unbeatens. Notice Iowa's percentage is very low. It's 8%, but that includes the Big Ten championship game because the East, no matter who it is going to be heavily favored, whether it's the front runners, Ohio State, Michigan State, maybe if Michigan gets back into it, they're going to be heavily favored regardless of the opponent in that game.
And Adam, I'm telling you this, that Iowa in a head-to-head matchup,
one-off game.
Yeah, winner take all, the way that they play football, they run it and they defend the run. The defense defends 3rd down well and defends red zone well. The offense is efficient. C.J. Beathard is a very good decision maker. He will get slightly healthier as the season goes along, we would hope. They play football well in so many small areas. They play special teams. They typically win turnover takeaway. Iowa is legit going now at 8-0, so the conundrum, college football world, figure out what you're going to do with Iowa.
Second all-time meeting between Maryland and Iowa. The home team has won both matchups thus far. Maryland certainly made it interesting in more ways than one. But Desmond King had a pick 6. Solid rushing attack once again. 3 different backs had a rushing touchdown for the Hawkeyes, who moved to 8-0 for the first time since 2009. "16-point victory." Mike Loxley has done a fantastic job at least keeping the positivity around the Maryland program. He ran into a tough task today as Iowa moves to 8-0, 31